Hi Cancer, this is your June 2020 tarot forecast. So guys, this is for Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, and Cancer Rising signs. If you happen to know that your Cancer is in Venus, you know what, this video is for you too. I find that Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs are going to benefit from this. So also this is a tiny bit late, so thanks for your patience. I needed some time off, so I'm back. And this is for the entire month of June, guys. So Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for Cancer for June 2020. Wow, we just have some, no NBD. Just some majors jumping out for you. That's pretty significant, guys. So Sagittarius energy. We've got some Mercury energy here. And then, of course, our Pisces ruled moon. It is interesting to see, we have some hope, some expansion here, a great deal of personal expansion, your soul's journey, your soul's design, a leap of faith, a major leap of faith. You're starting from nothing, right? Just absolutely gorgeous energy. And then you have this sort of, where am I going? Which way am I going? So you may feel a little bit overshadowed with doubts, fears, unknowns. There could even be some shadows, right? We could be dealing with the shadow self. You could still have to do some shadow healing work, and this is part of it. They did come out in these threes, and I mean, in terms of this air energy here in the Fool, which is the ether, it's your soul, it's the unbound spirit, and you have expansion here. I mean, we are dealing with 12th house energy with Pisces ruled moon. So you could be going into another dark night of the soul. You could be taking lessons from a recent dark night of the soul. You could need one, or this is next for you, and this if you find you're in a difficult position in the month of June, for example, spiritually especially, or mentally, then consider that leveling up. I would consider that a test and try to do your best to pass that. It could, and it probably will cause some concern, but it's just going to be about a matter of what you're willing to see and what you're willing to face. I find the 8 and the 2 of Swords, they do have differing energy. The 2 is more of a choice, but the 8 is really, an awareness, right? An awareness, not unawareness, but it's an awareness. You're becoming mindful of something here. So, and it could just be another step in your evolution this month. It also could be, something to look out for. We have some more Pisces energy here flipping out as I'm shuffling. So you could be dealing with a Pisces individual as well, or as I said, 12th house energy. Pisces rules the 12th house. And of course that is spirituality, and it's the afterworld. All right, guys, so let's get out your Celtic Cross today. You'll notice a little bit of a difference. I'm not going to qualify the main spread with a smaller deck. I tried it for a little while. I was really excited to do it, and I liked it a little bit, but I found it more distracting and time-consuming than anything else. I'm going to keep it super simple. Look at all of these. A lot of action. There could be something having to do with work, the workplace, or entrepreneurship, or a business enterprise. Some healing energy coming into the month. We do have some majors here. Here's some more swords where we're looking at, a broken heart. There's that moon right across from the star. How interesting is that? 1718, no less. Now remember that the tower precedes the star and the sun follows the moon. So it could have been that through great turbulence, there's a healing or an opportunity for a healing period. And then there's that seeking, that knowing, that shadow self, that dark self, coming to terms with something about yourself. It could be from an old hurt. Remember, the tower is an unexpected event, and it's Mars energy, so it's probably very aggressive. And back with the moon, as I was just speaking about in detail a moment ago, the sun follows it. So something really positive is going to come out of this. Probably a conflict, right? I mean, we are starting out with the Five of Wands here, but it's towards something positive, right? The Five of Wands is actually, if you're going to have any five, in my view, you know, the Five of Wands is actually quite useful. Yes, it can feel a little bit conflicting and chaotic, but nice. Really nice last 2 weeks of the month for you guys. And some nice bottom of the deck energy that I'll look at in a moment with you. But you know, this is how I know that something's being shaken up for you a little bit. Probably around the first week of the month here, guys. You know, by the end of the first week, this will be solved. I do think it's something that you're going to be highly aware of. I'll look at that in just a moment. And it's probably going to be an old pain. It'll be an old hurt, something you probably expected, something that probably hurt you before. But I think the lesson here is to level up from it this time versus, you know, being hurt or living in a shadow state, you know, the other essence to the moon I find as well is it's lower consciousness, right? It could even be this, well, not could be, it is subconscious energy. But it's the stuff, you know, this is the stuff that triggers us, right? That we don't even know. That we don't even know it's going to trigger us. So, yeah, you know, you do have a really positive path ahead. I do think that there is going to be, for the first 2 weeks for you, you know, something here that's going to bring back something that's already happened, that's already broken your heart, or just, you know, reveal an old wound that perhaps, like I said, you could have a second chance at here. And then, you know, once you get it, say, right this time, or once you use sort of any Mars energy or conflict energy here, you know, to level up, as opposed to having it feed this egoic state of hurt or pain, okay? And I'm going to look at the last 2 weeks in detail in just a moment, but let's get into each card in its position. And I'm leaving this for its own moment here because it's just so glorious and it's so positive and it's its own thing. Like, things are going to shift. I would even just say mid-month for you, like, wow, that was heavy, that felt like a lot, and then it's just like, oh, awesome, right? Awesome. You get to come out the other side of that. This is how I know that you're going to win this battle over yourself, over your, say, subconscious or your egoic self. That's how I know you're going to win, and this is how I know it's deep, right? So we have our King of Cups here as the bottom of the deck energy. When I say bottom of the deck energy, what I mean is, like, if this were a vessel, if all these cards were in a bowl, I mean, this would be the bowl. And it's just sort of like underlying energy, what's going on underneath it. And this is intense emotions, right? So this is Scorpio energy, 8th house energy, legacy, shared possessions. And its opposite is Taurus. You could be dealing with a Taurus and or Scorpio individual. But, you know, it's sex, death, and rebirth, right? So this is a pretty intense energy. It's an intense sign. It is ruled by 2 planets. It's ruled by both Mars and Pluto. And Pluto is actually, in terms of, you know, Neptune and Pluto, right? They're 2 older, sort of ancient planets. They take a long time to revolve. These are generational, okay? Pluto and Neptune. Pluto, Neptune. These are generational. So it could be, you know, something having to do within generations, or a difference of opinion or ideology or attitude, or even way of working that's different from a different age group than you, or even a different cultural group sometimes. You know, age can be cultural. So, but intensity all the same. But, you know, overall, this is really nice. I would say intuitively strong and extremely powerful. Remember, Scorpio will come back from anything. So this is how I know you're going to come out of something that's coming around again, but you're going to figure it out this time, and you're going to use it to your advantage. It stands to be very positive for you this time, but it could break your heart. Or it could be an old wound where you're just like, really, this again? So, you know, just watch for that, guys. Here in the situation, and what's crossing it is the 5 of Wands, as I was saying, it crossed by the Magician. So it's just, this is to be aware of conflict, in my view. This is to be sensitive and aware of conflict. So, you know, this is actually Mercury ruled, the Magician. The Fool, I believe I said, was Mercury ruled. It's air, right? It's all of the air signs. it's this sort of, it's an idea. It's your soul. It's the ether. This is, what are you thinking? What are you communicating? So just try to avoid, say, an overt conflict. Maybe just take a step back from something. I would say within the first week here, take a step back from something that, in particular, whether this is business or personal, or anything in between, just maybe just let someone else be right here, because it looks like you and at least one other person or entity is working toward, say, a common goal, but you both have to be right. You both feel like you have to be right doing it, but you don't. You can be right, and you can let them think they're right while still manifesting that outcome. So you can still manifest the outcome that you want, while keeping conflict minimal. Try to stay away from chaos and conflict here as well. And you'll know it. You'll know what to see here. I mean, the Magician holds all the aces, so you're aware of something. So you can avoid this pretty easily. At the foundation, we have the 10 of Wands, and right above it, right at its crown, is the 3 of Swords. So, what we're looking at is something that probably hurt you before. It's an old wound, it's a scar, and it's just you're tired of it. You just want it to go away, and I feel like this could be, because we're dealing with the 10, we're dealing with an end of a cycle here, probably related to this little bit of chaos or conflict here. It's just you're leveling up. You know better now. You know what it's going to get you to get upset. You know what it's going to get you to talk to that person or to try to be right, etc. And I think you can get away from it if you make this decision, as long as you stay aware of it, okay? As long as you stay aware of an impending conflict. It's going to be small scale, right? We're dealing with a 5. That's pretty low on the totem. But it could blow up into something if you want it to, but it doesn't have to. You can diffuse it pretty easily. Recent past, as I mentioned, here we have the Star. Remember, the Tower precedes this. So something, as I said, so the recent past is going to bring, a lot of healing energy after something that was upsetting. This is also a hopes and a wish card, right? And I do find the Star as well, depending on what is going on in your life while you're watching this. You could be thrust into the spotlight here. Remember, Aquarius rules this card, and Aquarius is opposite of Leo. And they both belong in the spotlight, just in a different way. So there could be some spotlight situation here for you. You could be dealing with an Aquarius individual or have Aquarius in your own chart. In this regard, if you do have Aquarius in your own chart, or you're dealing with an Aquarian who is helpful in your environment, I'm going to suggest that this person right now could be helpful in you healing, or you could be helping an Aquarian individual heal from something that was troubling. Or you could just be good for each other right now. But in your recent past, certainly healing is manifesting and taking place. And it could have to do with your community at large, or certainly in terms of brotherhood and sisterhood. So your community, if not your family. Here, as I just mentioned briefly, crowns you is the 3 of Swords. So we're looking at some creativity here. You got to be creative about how you're going to live with this broken heart. Really, frankly, your broken heart is going to be different than everybody else's, no matter what it is. Even if you lose someone you love, you're going to deal with that in your own way, and it's going to mean its own thing to you, and you're going to have to mourn your own way, etc. So, everyone does have a broken heart, but yours is unique to you, and that needs to be honored. As I said, major turnover. Remember, the 1 follows this. We go through the cycle again from the 10, which is a complete cycle, all the way to the 1. So a new opportunity exists for you here. A new passion, a new opportunity, a new way of doing things, a new creative venture, possibly a new person if this is a love reading for you. It could just be a new person enters your life and brings a lot of passion and energy and support here as well. And I'm speaking to the Ace of Wands because I'm looking at a complete cycle here, okay, around a broken heart. So, honor that, but don't live there. Be creative about how you're going to handle and assess your broken heart. Try not to feel all alone about that either, right? Everyone, it's a human condition. We have to grapple with these things, but it's just like, how are you going to grapple with it? I think it could take a toll on you the near future. Here's that moon. It jumped out as I was shuffling, as you know. So, you know, the moon is really speaking to you. I gave it a lot of detail earlier, but we're dealing with our subconscious here, and we're dealing with triggers and old wounds. Things that we can't even understand sometimes. Some things that you can't even feel like you can control, right? Remember, this is underneath. As opposed to the very next card, which is the sun, which is exposure. So it could just be like you feel also something needs to be exposed here, or something's being buried and it needs to be brought to life. And this could very well be happening for you, and it could really make a big difference, because how you are seeing yourself is a perfect equilibrium. We have the Six of Pentacles. Following it is an even stronger pentacle energy regarding how others are seeing you. So you look interested and invested in family values, in long-term relationships, in fairness and understanding, you know, and it's very practical. This is very real. People can feel this. So this is where you're coming from, which is extremely positive. So really nice balance here. And then, of course, like I said, here we have our legacy card. This is how other people are seeing you. So, you know, you are looked upon as someone who is interested in family values, some interested in children and grandchildren, and making sure that your RSPs and your savings and your assets are on lock. And this is important to you, and other people are cognizant of that, and they feel that in your presence. That this is a very strong, stable energy, both how you feel about yourself and how others feel about you. So very, very positive there as well. Here's your hopes and fears, right? Here's the Eight of Wands. This is hoping, I'm guessing, you're not fearing getting good information, but this is really good news, right? This is really positive, fast, probably unexpected news, but extremely positive, right? And it could have to do with your career, an enterprise, entrepreneurship, or certainly a relationship, like a romance. And then here with your advice card, right? Advice or outcome is working probably with your hands, or very in a practical sense, on something with at least one other person toward a common goal, a common outcome. And there could be a spiritual factor involved here as well. I want to mention we are dealing with another 3, so we're dealing with more creative energy. So again, I think it's how you're going to, and it's so interesting having these two really just across from each other, right? The difference between how you think about a loss or a hurt and then what you're going to do with it. You can use this to heal yourself, to heal others in a very real and practical way. So again, the last 2 weeks of the month for you look extremely positive. I'm just going to get a qualifier card here for one of the cards in your reading, and I think I'm going to look a little more closely at the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is crowning you. So tell us more about the Three of Swords crowning Cancer for June 2020. Three of Swords crowning. Why is it Three of Swords crowning? Right, so more swords energy. So again, this is really a matter of a lot of information. There's a lot of air energy here, in fact, so it's what's spoken, what's being thought, what's being spoken, what's being translated, communicated, this type of thing. It could be over information. This person is very quick to say what's on their mind and quick to leave a situation as well. I wouldn't really go around. I think the Page is more likely to induce, say, more research, or have that sort of spy energy, or, you know, watch your sources type energy. I think this person is just quicksilver, you know, quick thinking, quick speaking. But again, it's what's being said, it's what's being communicated here. Maybe there's just too much being communicated, or there was too much and it's created a heaviness, or it's created a conflict. But it could be that part of the conflict here for you, or a little bit of the chaos around which you have a lot of control over, remember, is what's being communicated, or even how, like I said, even how it's being communicated. Even if someone else can be right now, and it means just moving on and getting on with it, you know, and if no harm's done, maybe just try that, because it might make all the difference here, especially at the first 2 weeks of the month. Let us get some oracle cards for you here, guys. So I had a few jump around, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to take the one there. Overall, guys, really nice reading. You know, we are dealing with a lot of significant planetary influences as well. Other astrologers and occultists will be talking more in detail about the planetary influences. You can find that super easily. But we have Sagittarius, Saturn, Jupiter, and I believe Neptune, you know, in significant signs that hadn't been met for hundreds of years. So there are significant changes behind the scenes right now. Again, I'm not going to get into that with my focus on tarot, but it is interesting to see those planetary influences. So there's a little bit of a shakeup, and there's a lot of opportunity here to level up, right? I think you can, with both of these really creative cards, both threes here, you can, we have an ideas and inspiration card here. You really can help yourself out of a difficult situation by coming to terms with what inspires you and what ideas you have. It could just be getting a project started. This could have to do with nobody else but you, and it's just about taking that risk, you know, being courageous and following your intuition and being able to go deep, maybe exposing something about yourself or about a situation that you believe very strongly ought to see the light of day. So here we have go the distance, and yeah, I mean, you really do want to follow through with something here. It is really important. 10 to 1, it's going to have something to do with the family or a long-term project that has to do with your family possibly. We do have 2 10s. I'm just looking for multiples. I don't see any triplets, but 2 10s, and of course we have 2 3s if that's meaningful to you. Ideas and inspirations here is what I was looking at regarding the 3s. Yeah, you know, take what was hurtful and do something beautiful with it. It might be a really beautiful period of time, particularly the end of the month, to do some creative work here, guys. Here in codependency, so addictions are affecting your romantic life. You could say that your romance involves anything you love, right? It could, you know, your creative projects could be, you know, considered a love interest for you. So wow, I just realized the time. Sorry, guys. And then, so just leaving that with you. And then bear, of course, is introspection, okay? So introspection, going within. Don't make the same mistake twice here, guys, if you can help it. Level up. Be prepared for something coming back to show itself for you to really figure it out this time. And refuse to sink with it, okay, guys? You're going to rise above. So Cancer, that is your reading for June 2020. I really hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.